back, everyone, to another episode of Cinema d'Amore. I'm your host, Chuck, joined by
Justin.
And this week we're talking about The Descent. Just get right into it.
We usually do. This is
Just jump right in.
Following up to Ex Machina. I'm not sure how. I'm supposed
you didn't figure it out yet.
Isolation. Ambiguous endings.
Those are all good choices.
Being betrayed.
More good choices. You're just right there.
So it's something story wise. It's not like the directors are both from the UK.
Give it a second.
It's a weird noise. Is the theme girls trip?
I do like that idea of girls trip. I mean, there are girls going on a trip. No, it's a little. I guess you'd say it's more on the technical side. I mean, yeah, the directors have something in common, I guess, in that area.
They have movies that take place in the United States. Vaguely in the United States. I don't even know if Ex Machina where it is. I can't remember. I never took it as like the United States though.
I think it doesn't it doesn't go, I think, into any sort of major details on where that is.
I mean, yeah, this doesn't really either. It's like Appalachian Mountains, so it's somewhere on the East Coast, and I'm assuming it's the lower end of the East Coast. Does that have something to do with getting stabbed in the neck?
You're coming up with a lot of great options there. just dancing around the options.
Something murdering you? Murder?
Nope.
Well, it's definitely not caving.
You're getting colder there.
Tearing up the dance floor? I mean, I don't think if there is dancing, it's just a dumb we're together 2 seconds of the descent. They descend.
Does anyone descend in Ex Machina?
They go to the basement. That plane descends the helicopter descends to the ground. I don't know what is your connection? What were you going for?
They both won Best Director at the British Independent Film Awards.
Oh, God damn it.
I told you it was the directors, and you like completely dropped that and kept going for like weird story connections.
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did. I was close, I guess, with the British directors. I was like right there.
That was as close as you got.
Yep. I never even heard of that award show.
I'm sure
people in other countries have award shows.
Yeah, crazy. What a concept.
Yeah. The Descent, 2005. Neil Marshall, who is kind of hit or miss for me. I feel like he's done some great television episodes.
More miss than hit, I think, on.
Overall. I did buy Dog Soldiers to rewatch, but I did not like it the first time. But like maybe things have changed. I think rewatching The Descent for maybe the third time, I maybe enjoyed it less. We'll get into that, but I'd still say overall this is a good movie.
Yeah, he's I don't know. Yeah, like you said, hit or miss. I've not seen any of his most recent movies. He did Hellboy in 2019, the one with David Harbour, which I watched that. It's not anywhere remotely close to quality of Guillermo del Toro's two movies. It wasn't terrible. It felt, I don't know, Mila Jovovich being in it made it feel like one of her husband's movies, Paul W.S. Anderson.
It felt like it was on Evil movie.
It felt like it was on that quality level of not the worst movie in the world, but not
striving to be the best.
It's a movie that a guy directed that knows how to direct a film, but isn't that good at it or something. I don't know. But yeah, this is that wasn't great. But he's come out with like 5 or 6 movies since then, and I'm like, I've never heard of any of them, never saw any marketing for any of them. But he's consistently been making movies.
Yeah, I saw a bunch on IMDb, and I didn't really look into him in great detail, but I kind of felt like he might have made a bunch of short films as well, because there were just so many of them that I hadn't heard of, and they all had very similar looking posters of just the titles, and I was like, he's had to have just made a bunch of short films for some reason. I don't know what else it would be.
Well, also, much like Paul W. Sanderson, I started noticing when I was trying to look through those movies that they were all written by the same person, and I was like, this has to be his wife, right? And it is. He's like all of his movies after The Descent and excluding, I think, Hellboy, like all of his movies are written by his. I think it said they were fiance, like they're not actually married, but she's written like all of his movies. So I guess that's just another one of
Including
those like
this one, or
things.
just starting after
After
this
this
one?
one, yeah, like after this one, she's been writing all of his movies.
Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, hey, if it works, it works. If you like the material, you like the material. I was gonna
Yeah,
say maybe he needed a female perspective for this.
no, he wrote this all by himself. He already was into the
He knew,
female mind.
yeah. I mean, I think this movie only had, well, there are extras, but there's only like one male character, and they're in the movie for a minute, maybe 2 minutes before they're
But it's a great two
brutally
minutes
killed.
leading up into that. This movie always makes me think of Rings 2, or The Ring 2, not Rings 2, but because
Two
it's like
rings.
within the first 5 minutes, there's like a insane car crash scene.
I don't even remember the deer scene, or is there a different
Ooh.
car crash scene? Oh, that's like
What
that's like
other
30
car
minutes
crash scene?
in.
Well, it's deeper in, but I don't know, I always think of that. It's where the craziness starts to happen.
Yeah, so these are like adventurous women, a group of friends. They go whitewater rafting. On the way home, the protagonist, is her husband's driving, and I don't know. He gets in a car accident. He dies very brutally. And when she wakes up in the hospital, they're telling her that she lost her husband and her kid that was in the car with her. It's fucking brutal. I kind of don't really care much about what happens in, like, she starts having weird, like, running through the hospital with the lights turning off behind her. Like, she's having some sort of mental breakdown, I guess. And it very quickly goes to 1 year later where the story starts, which I think is fine. But she even has like a nightmare where like a pipe's going through her goddamn head or whatever that was. And it's just like a weird jump scare. And I thought, the fuck is going on? So I feel like they could have started this story without having had seen anything prior to the previous year. It could have literally been it would have been more interesting to me if you would have just found out more about her through that trip, instead of having what the weird whitewater rafting, car accident scene, hospital scene. Could have just had everyone be like, I can't believe she came out to this after what happened to her last year. I think that would have been more interesting, more intriguing.
You got
But
to connect the husband to the friend.
but
Got to
like
get that payoff at the end.
I mean, they still do, but I feel like the connections mostly, not entirely. Yeah, they do have a little bit in the beginning, but like what I can't remember that saying is. So like like the live, laugh, love thing,
Love
whatever it
each
is.
day or something.
Love each day. Yeah, because very early on, she's like, love each day. That's what my husband used to say when he was still alive, before last year and his brutal accident that we had. And then, so that comes back into play, but I don't know if they 100% needed it. I'm also kind of, I don't know. The concept of, like, how do you get stuck in a cave? Because that's the premise of this, essentially. These women get trapped. Why are they in this cave that they know nothing about? Because you have one asshole character who's like takes the blunt of all assholeness, I guess, from away from all the other characters.
I mean, that's very real life, though. I've watched so many videos of people going into caves that die. Like, that's not even an uncommon. It 100% is all these people that are like, this cave would be cool to go into. Then it immediately turns into, and then they died there, and their bodies are still there because they can't get them out of there because it would cause a
Oh
cave in.
yeah,
So it's like it's not even like an unrealistic.
I'm not saying it's unrealistic to do that, but it is such a dick move to not tell anybody that you're in the going to the wrong cave to do some exploring for this like unmapped cave.
It'd be lame. Like how she tries to blame the other girl too. She's like, she was right. She said this cave was lame, and she's like, don't put that shit on me.
They should have straight had him go to the wrong cave like by accident, being like, this cannot be the cave. The map doesn't match, like this doesn't match. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. But I do think that the human story behind it is a strong point. And I mean, to me, it's the whole fucking movie. The creatures are cool. We do have some, I don't know what you want to call them, monsters.
Yeah, I don't even know. They don't get into that. If like are they just like mutated humans that have been trapped underground, or are they just monsters that have always been there, or something? They never really get into it. Maybe they go into it in the sequel. I haven't seen the
I didn't
sequel.
watch the sequel either. My
I
assumption is that they were obviously they're genetically different, but they started as people, So like, I don't know if it
yeah.
goes back to Neanderthals or something, or if they're like hundreds of generations of nocturnal creatures. We do see that there's
That's what
like
I'm not.
there's a hell of a lot of bones and shit in their cavern. So I feel like they're either sneaking out at night to eat things or
Yeah,
like,
because you would assume they can't. I, I mean, I would think they can't go out during the day. The sun would probably hurt to be out in. They're blind, but
yeah, but you see like people bodies and you see animals like wolves and stuff like that. Or maybe they wait till they get close to the cave and they would like, grab them and pull them in. There's a lot of them. They are eating. You know what I mean? Like they're all about the same shape and size, and they have enough nutrients to hang off walls and to like leap onto people and shit like that.
yeah.
So yeah, they're harvest. Yeah, they have to be sneaking out. The second ones are like they never left their cave before. I also think, I mean, obviously this movie, since the moment I knew about it, they were advertising they're stuck in a cave with a creature or creatures, I can't remember, but there was something down there with them. And I do think this would be a great movie if the advertisement was more along the lines of these cavers got stuck and you didn't know that it was going to be a monster movie. It was
Yeah.
just straight up like, oh, how are they going to get out of this cave? And halfway through, you're like, what in the fuck is that?
I mean, it's pretty deep into the movie before they even get to the monsters. It's like a full hour in before
yeah.
there's even remotely that idea of the monsters being in there. It really. So yeah, like you're saying, I mean, the movie doesn't suggest it at all at the very beginning, other than you see like they come across the dead elk or something. And they're like, what could have killed that thing? And
Yeah.
I think the one of them sees claw marks, like bloody claw marks on a wall at some point in the beginning, but it's still like you're still thinking maybe it could just be like a bear or something lives in that cave or something. But
And they
yeah, they
don't bring
don't.
it up, I don't think, in the movie either, but the Appalachian Mountains do have a notoriety for people that go missing and they don't find. And maybe that's the idea without it being said. So, the assumption is, yeah, they're eating people that were maybe on the Appalachian Trail trying to do the big hike. But yeah, you're right. We go caving. There, we get stuck in the cave from a collapse. We have a character fall and break their leg. I don't know if anything else happens, but that's generally everything. They're like, oh, we're going to run out of batteries on our lights. this all happens before you hear and see the first creature. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot that has already happened in this cave before they're like, there was a fucking man. And I always love these horror movies where we got a clear look at this, like, white-ass naked creature.
Like Gollum.
Yeah, it looks like Gollum. And they're like, it was a man. Be like,
there's a guy down here with us. Yes. Like,
bitch, you think
yeah,
that
that
was
is
a
definitely
man?
not a
You think
guy.
that was a man? Yeah, it didn't look like a man
there's
at
definitely
all.
not a guy down here with us.
And I mean, they could have been, because we see the, like, ancient hieroglyphs or whatever you want to call them, like very native looking. Yeah, the cave paintings are in there, but like they could have evolved from those people.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's the hint there.
Yeah, there's no monsters painted on their cave paintings.
Yeah. That would have been cool. Yeah, you're right. There's another thing that most horror movies would be like, what is that? This was very
what's
quick
that? What's
to be
that
like,
thing? Yeah.
hey, look, do you see what I see? And it'd be like that monster there. It'd be like, oh, no, I didn't see that. No, I saw that there's two entrances and exits.
Do you have that great moment too where like and even watching it, yeah, this is either the second or third time I've watched it too, and I do forget about it feels like it's such an obvious plant and payoff thing with like the girl being like, I can't get this damn watch to set right. Like I can't get it to turn off or something like that. And she wears it in, and that is a great moment where it's like all we have to do is just be quiet, just don't make any sound whatsoever. And the other woman, Juno's like yelling, and they're like, it's okay, she'll draw them away with her yelling anyway. And then immediately that watch just starts going off.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things in there too. Also, I think this movie's before they made the Tomb Raider remake, but
Probably.
with the, I don't know what you want to, I don't know my spelunking terms, but the thing to grasp onto the walls to climb them, that they kind of use like a sharp object, totally is used
the
very
ice
hard.
axe thing, I think they called him like it's like an ice axe or something.
Yeah, and I mean they mentioned Tomb Raider in this, but I'm like, I think that
could have
new
been
iteration.
I thought about while I was watching it, I was like, oh, that could be the connection too. If I want to say that they have Tomb Raider connections. She was Tomb Raider in another movie, and they bring it up here. But,
and they just fucking said Tomb Raider. Done.
Yeah,
that's
not Tomb Raider. Come on.
That's me when they let you down with Little Bill. You're like, there's no fucking Little Bill in this movie.
yeah. Got to make a connection somewhere.
When I was trying to connect Unforgiven to the cable guy. Hey, you did say in the last episode that you were going to let AI help you pick the movie. Did that happen, or did you forget that you said that?
I forgot I said that. Did not let AI assist.
It would be funny to be like, what should I do, AI? And it says, I don't know, The Descent.
The Descent, yeah.
Why? Also,
just do it.
You've done really good at picking things that I have on DVD that I have to dig for. Like, you're picking around the very specific time, I guess, in my life, where these are just things that I have on DVD.
I had it on DVD, but I will say I was lazy and I put it on Tubi, which only had like 3 ads through the whole thing. They weren't very long, but
the ads might be nice.
The one thing that is different, I know about that I think I've never seen the theatrical version, which is what was on Tubi, and my DVD's the unrated version, which they listed unrated, but it's not. It doesn't have any difference in gore. It just says the ending is 1 minute shorter in the theatrical version.
I do know the difference. The difference is what's considered the unrated version is what was released in the UK, and the theatrical version, where they made like a happier-ish ending.
Still not super. It's such a weird way to edit it, because it's still not really even like, I wouldn't even describe it as a happier ending. It just cuts. It literally just feels like it's exactly what they did. They just watched the movie and were like, let's cut it like 30 seconds before the ending. And it's like, okay, so it just has that hard cut of her having a jump scare in the car and then nothing. And you're just left to be like, well, is that girl actually alive? Like, is she in the car with her, or is she just having a mental breakdown or something?
This is where like some things bother me with these European horror movies. It's not all of them, but you get stuff like this where it's so muddled to the point that you're like, it could be anything. It could literally be anything. I kind of like the idea of where it goes, which I'm interpreting it as this woman's like becoming stronger and should be dealing with her pain. She's more or less just having a psychotic breakdown. It does have an interesting thing where she does become like a better survivor to an extent, but it kind of ruins it because it hardens her up to be this survivor, and she does not survive. Well, maybe she does. Maybe she's in the second one. I don't know. But
She is in the second one. Most of the people are in the second one.
it's like a flashback sequence, or they all just like they play corpses or something.
No, she's alive in the second one.
Are the rest of them?
The girl that she leaves for dead is also alive in the second one.
Yeah. I mean, I think that this movie was also suffered from being a lot of the same. I do think that it looked good. I think the concept of it was
also
good.
a hard movie to watch in the middle of the day. I started watching it too early, and it's one of those movies I'm just like, I'm getting so much glare on the screen that I'm like, I can't tell what's happening here. I have to wait till the sun goes down to watch this movie. Which, I mean, maybe that's the thought process, is like guarantees they'll have to watch it late at night when they'll be the most scared.
It is a very, very dark movie. This first time that I watched this, I watched it at home while Steph was sleeping, and I was watching it in the bedroom, and she must have woke up but didn't say anything. It was just watching TV, and she like jumped in fear because it was a shot of one of those creatures just like being kind of like, I don't know, just creepy, whatever. But she wasn't expecting it, I guess. It was like a waking nightmare thing, I feel. I also feel like the creatures are scary, but then you get a little bit too much of them. Like
once you get the part where the one that's studying to be a doctor or whatever,
the creature that's studying to be a doctor.
Yeah. She like studies it and shows up close, like look at its eyes, it's blind, and look at its face like this. It's like, yeah, you see way too much of it in that moment. It makes them less frightening for the rest of the movie because you're like, oh, it's just a blind guy.
It would be great if they're like, they can't see you, and it was like, bitch, I can't see you. You're like, they also, like, I know you're discovering more and more about what they can and can't do. Like, they can hang off the ceiling of caves, which they don't look like they could, but they got some Spider-Man shit going on, and they can. There's also that moment where the girl, I think she just kills one of them. I don't, it's when she falls into the water and then fights the one in the water, or a mass of blood, or I don't know what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
The pool of blood. And then when she comes out and she like plays dead while the other one comes out, and it's like touching her head. And I'm like, dude,
it's just standing on her.
You can't feel that she
doesn't feel like a rock.
Yeah. I was like, I'm pretty sure they'd be able to feel that, even if they are like echolocation, like bats.
Yeah.
They also do, like you said, very quick to try to explain what these things are, where they're like, they bring up the echolocation like bats, like, oh, they're like bats. That's them communicating like bats. It's like, sure, the girl that fell and broke her leg, the woman knew how to take care of it. That makes sense. But then you're getting into like some weird, the characters is just, yep, I can tell a lot about the anatomy of these things that I just saw for the first time. I always feel like you'd be better to be like, well, they gotta be just like us. There's nothing like, they can't climb like we can climb, and then the thing just climbs real easily. Yeah, it's just a dude. He's just stuck down here.
We should help him.
I mean, I also really do like the time of the early 2000 or mid 2000s, and they're using that camcorder. They're using the night vision on the camcorder to be able to see, and that feels not dated, but such a thing
no
of
one
that
even has
time.
no one even has a cell phone. I think that I see at all in there. Like no one I mean, not that they'd probably get signal underground or something like that, but yeah, like no one even has a cell phone that would have like a flashlight on it or anything.
But just like the camcorder, like, oh yeah, I brought the camcorder for down here that can't get any good images of things. But yeah, that's like when they're crawling all over like bones and stuff, like shit like that. I do like the way they sound. I don't know what they sound like cats or dogs or something. Maybe they did a thing like where the vocals are actually people since they're supposed to be descendants or off of people in some way. But yeah, the more you see him, the worse they do. They look more like just your typical elf, your dark elf or something, you know?
Yeah. And then like the only shot I think that looks like kind of goofy, like effects wise, is like when she leaves the other girl Juno for dead, and, like escapes the cave, and it's one of those like they start popping up out of everywhere, and they very clearly look like they're just like CGI'd to like be behind her and stuff like that. Definitely wasn't on set. It was just like they filmed her in front of a black screen, and they're like, we'll just put scary guys around you.
Yeah, there's some moments too where the cave looks painted, you know? Bless you. Bless you. Bless you. Yeah, there's a part where like they're like really on far sides of the cave, and if it is a set, so be it. But it does look like just a matte painting. I was trying to think of like a movie that this reminded me of a lot was maybe I think we watched it last year, As Above, So Below.
I had the same thought, yeah.
It did have the same concept of like we got stuck down here. There's something down here with us.
Just keep moving forward, I guess.
The only direction we have is like to just try this other route because like what do we have to lose?
Yeah.
This had that added like, you know, the main characters mourning the loss of her husband and daughter, and then finding out that like her husband was basically a piece of shit, and her friend wasn't somebody that she could trust. And then I do like that comes at a time when they need each other the most. So it's like there's all these creatures and shit trying to kill them. And now they're like, I don't even trust you because, I mean, it's not even just a cheating thing because when she finds out from her, like her best friend who's like stabbed in the neck. And she's like, this, you know, of course she lives for an extra 20 minutes to be able to say this. But she's like, yeah, that was Juno. And she did this shit on purpose. She purposely stabbed me in the neck. And she's not wrong. She did purposely do it, but it's definitely a good shot where she thought it was a creature, stabbed her in the neck, and then was like, oh shit. And she just pulls it out, and then she's like, yeah, like just leaves her for dead. like I guess her mindset's like, I'll just let them think the creatures did this, and she just lives. I think that's another thing where the cave gets like, it's so dark. I get maybe that's why they're backtracking a lot, but you never have a clear idea of like where the hell they could possibly be in this cave because they get split up and then they come back together. So it's like, is the cavern like a lot of like circular caverns that come back to each other? Or like maybe I'm thinking way too much into it. But when you think that you're going, like you basically have to push forward, something's wrong where they're ending up back where people are already at. I know it sounds like huge criticisms, but I don't know how long this movie is. It didn't feel too long.
Like an hour and a half.
Yeah, I don't think it was a bad length. I thought it was a good concept. I thought it was a good idea. I liked most of the characters. I liked the dynamic with the characters. The setup's fine. It feels really good for a person who, I mean, I know this is his second movie, or is there something before Dog Soldiers? Well, whatever it is.
Dog Soldiers was the first, yeah.
It's not his first movie. It's not his first rodeo. And it has some of those like early horror tropes in it, like a lot of the jump scare type things. But then it also has more fun things that are like specific to the situation going on. Like when they're trying to like fight against those creatures, and you got shit like their carabiner or whatever that's like into the rock is like starting to give because they didn't actually get it in there deep enough or actually secure it. So it's got fun shit like that. But I do feel like a lot of it's just characters falling into the dark and then you never see them again. It is also funny too to me when when they full on fight them, like we're just gonna have to fucking fight these things. And that woman's like pushing her thumbs into the creature's like eyes. It's just such a funny way to to like beat them up, like all of a sudden it's like, we're not gonna take shit from these guys. We can fucking kill these things.
So it wouldn't even help that much because even if you took out his eyes, they weren't relying on that anyway.
No, yeah, should have jammed shit into their ears or something like that. But yeah, that one scene when they're down in the bottom and there's like at least 6 of them, if not more. I'm like, holy fuck, there are a lot of these things down there. I want to see it from their point of view. The Descent, 1.5, and they're like, is somebody in our cave? They have subtitles. They can still have the screeching. I mean, there's always been like those mole people type movies forever. So I do think this is a good concept. I do think this is a good... Honestly, unless I'm forgetting something, this is probably his best film.
Yeah.
Because I know that he did that like Centurion, which I hated, and Doomsday, which I didn't watch, but I heard wasn't good. Hellboy I didn't watch, but I heard it wasn't good. Loved his Game of Thrones episodes. I don't know what that was about. I don't know why you're the best there, but...
I mean, maybe he just does better with, a little bit smaller focus, smaller budget. Maybe you got to put the constraints on him to get the best out of him.
Maybe. Like, my biggest thing with Dog Soldiers was it felt like all the characters felt way over the top, and I never really cared for them. But the concept is very, very similar to this. They move around a little bit more in the caves, but it is more or less like we're trapped with these things that are trying to kill us.
Yeah.
That's his script. Wait, somebody's trapped with things that are going to kill them? Can I direct that? So the version you watched, what was it? Was it the US version?
Yeah. The one they had on streaming, yeah. Was the US
What
version.
happens? She gets out of the cave and then sees her kid?
She gets out of the cave and then she's in the car driving off. And then when she's on the side of the road and she has that like jump scare with her friend in the car, and then that's it. It just cuts to black.
Oh, it's the friend in the car. Yeah, this is, and then in the theatrical one the UK one, she gets out. Like, I can't even remember if she sees her kid. I'm like getting confused.
She sees the kid back in the cave. The UK version. The movie I think of the most often with this is it makes me think of, it's like 1408, where it's like
Brazil.
You thought she got out, and then it's like, yeah, but she was still in the cave the whole time.
Yeah, she is with that kid, and then they pan to her, and then they pan farther away, and the kid's gone.
Yeah.
And she's still back in that cave. And it makes a lot of sense, because she's just running from these things, and just happens to come upon light. And then I guess that if the exit is real, which it doesn't, I know it wasn't, but if it is in like your version that you watched, she's got to climb up all those bones. So I guess it would make sense that they're eating eating whatever they can from the edge. So they're venturing out, or, maybe not too far out, but just enough to be able to get something, come back in. I still don't think those creatures would be good against a wolf, but apparently they were, because there was a dead wolf down there. I also do love the extra wild shit where when they're driving like insanely fast and all over the road. Yeah, and besides the fact that anybody could be on the road or anything could happen, the main character was literally in a terrible car accident that her husband and daughter died in. Maybe tone it down a little bit if you're trying to mend your relationship with her. The woman's gonna have PTSD from you guys. You're terrible friends. And I never got the British humor about the God save the Queen type stuff. I don't even know if I want to know. I don't know if I want to understand it. Yeah, but that's the gist of it. I mean, besides some sprinkling in the fact that these women love their extreme sports. Because you do have that one woman that's she moved to the United States because she loves the base jump and
cooler stuff to jump off of.
Like she ran out of shit in England. Mind you, I guess she could have just traveled to wherever they were, but I was like, where's she base jumping from? Nothing around in that area. I also think they did a good job at making it look like it was United States. I know you're not seeing much. Basically, and it's also a little stereotypical. Maybe it's not wrong, but like when they're driving into that town, or they're driving wherever that sign is for the campground or whatever the hell it was, and it's like noticeably the bullet holes all in everything. And the one girl's like, I'm scared of this place. It's like, yeah, welcome to America. I think it's an accurate depiction. I mean, how many signs have you seen that have bullet holes all in them? So if you're not in the United States, that is a real thing. But I felt triggered there, I guess.
Just a thing that happens sometimes.
Yeah. What made you want to discuss this movie the most? Or rewatch it, I guess?
Yeah, it's a fun, quick movie. I knew it was just going to be, sometimes you just got to go with a nice, easy movie that's not too long, doesn't have anything too crazy.
Kind of just gut instinct.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how it's been, at least so far this year. I don't have, there's no way to really pre-plan anything. And most of my picks have been like very, very much on a whim. Like, I'm sure there's a ton of movies that we brought up that you haven't watched yet that would be perfect. And I'm like, Cable Guy, That's what we're doing. But yeah, it's on Tubi. I was going to say the commercials might be nice because it might break up the tension a little bit. If you're a little scared of being in those caves. Get some Febreze commercials. Your Spanish Febreze.
Yeah.
I guess that's it. And
I think that's everything.
I'll be back in 2 weeks with whatever movie I choose to connect to this one. What will it be at this point in time? I don't know. No clue at all.
I'm sure it'll be great.
Or terrible. I did have one idea which you would hate, but would make a lot of sense. It has to do with the antagonist's name. But I don't know how I'm feeling. It's more how you're feeling in the moment. So we'll find out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, thank you everybody for listening to another wonderful episode of Cinema Tomorrow. We're so happy that you listen to us bi-weekly whenever we post our episodes. And hey, see you next time. We are Cinema d'Amore. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with news and information on upcoming episodes. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, Pandora, Alexa, or iHeartRadio. It would be greatly appreciated if you subscribe to our podcast on your platform of choice. We also appreciate feedback, so rate us, review us, and let us know what you think. And above all else, thank you for listening.